International break, and we've got a special episode for you guys. Welcome to the Streets Won't Forget podcast. I'm Dodzi, your host. I'm here today with the magical trio. We've got Louie, got
What's
Keelan,
up, guys?
and when it's an international break, we got to talk on some debatable, touchy subjects in football. Today we're going to be going through every top nation in football, saying who their best player is, saying who their worst player is, and saying who their greatest ever player is. These are the nations we're going to be choosing from today. So Argentina, Brazil, France, England, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, Italy, Germany, Belgium, and Croatia. I don't think there's any other country really that can come into that. Croatia and Belgium are probably even lucky to be in that list. Would you guys agree? Would you agree?
Yeah, maybe Uruguay because they're World Cup previous World Cup winners.
Okay, all right.
But,
we can wing Uruguay then. To be fair.
Okay, yeah. We'll wing that.
Yeah.
When we film this next year, Ireland will be there, but not quite this year. Like
best player ever, Ferguson.
I don't know, man.
Oh, Evan Ferguson. Like.
Yeah,
worst player.
Have you still got him by then?
Bro, he's not declaring for England. I already had this conversation with you earlier. Both his parents are Irish, and neither of his grandparents are English. There's no way this guy's declaring for
England were trying to convert Arteta and Almunia at one point. I swear, like if you they'll find
and Januzaj,
and Januzaj, well, exactly. He's never.
But Ferguson's not even been in the country long enough. Been here like 3 years.
But he moved when he was 16. He started when he was 16. That's calm. Anyways, he's got mad competition there. Kane, Tony, and that. So
I thought he was on about Ireland. I was going to say what fucking Michael Penny.
No. Oh my days. Anyway, so when we choose the best players, right, and the worst players, right? We're going off we're going off players that either mainly start. So we're not choosing.
Yeah.
We're not going to choose for England.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, or we're not going to choose someone who's never in the squad. Like, I don't know. We're choosing players who
Lingard or someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go with South America first. Argentina. Who is the best Argentinian player? Keelan, who do you think the best player to play for Argentina is?
At the moment, I think it's Alvarez. And that's just because I think Alvarez is a top player. I've spoken about him before. I think he's just unfortunate to be behind Haaland. He could possibly be a top 5 forwards in the world. At the moment, he's just sort of stuck behind Haaland a bit. And I just think Messi's a bit limited in what he can offer today.
Wow. Well, you're wearing the Portugal top for a reason. Alvarez.
Let's be real. The proof's in the pudding. And you look at the World Cup. Everything went through Messi. The goals, the assists, the key moments. He stepped up with the penalties and stuff like that, which you would expect him to do. But he still had to bang him in the back of the net. He hasn't in the past. You can see even with the celebrations now how much the players respect him. They're basically praying to him. The top goal scorer for them in the World Cup.
That's not football, though, is it? Like
the top assister for them in the World Cup. The highest rated player on every single statistics website you can find. The captain, the main man in the World Cup. He was magical. It's Lionel Andres Messi.
Okay. Do you know when you're choosing best and worst players, right? Because next week we're going to do top 10 active players. Do you not factor in trajectories to that as well?
No,
you don't. Okay.
So the reason that I do is because, what you said about Messi, it's all kind of true, but he's in that position where it kind of he's got the whole team just working for him, and he's at this position where it's kind of quite hard for him to sort of fail in that team at the moment. Obviously, I get they won the World Cup. It's not like they're.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do Argentina win the World Cup without Alvarez?
Possibly.
Do they win it without Messi?
I think they could win it without Messi.
No, I don't think they win it without Messi. I don't think they get out.
Ivan Toney
up top. Out of the group. I don't think they get out of the group without Messi in that World Cup.
Maybe, but that's not because of Messi's football ability. Yeah, I get he gives the whole team this sort of motivation, which I can't yeah.
At the end of the
contribute
day,
for.
who got the goals against Mexico? Who got the goals against
Yeah,
Poland?
depends,
Enzo got a goal
man.
against.
The goal against the goal they needed when they needed him to step up, right? The goal against Mexico to score for them to qualify, he scored, and then the final goal in the World Cup final, they
Yeah,
needed him to score that. He stepped up in both their moments. Neither of those goals were penalties.
Alvarez 4 goals in the World Cup. To be fair, none were pens.
Alvarez is great.
Alvarez is great. Yeah.
But one of his goals, he would not have if Messi didn't beat 4 men on the dribble.
Same game, bro. Alvarez beat how many players to score that goal against? Bro?
Listen, Alvarez is great, but it's disrespectful to what we've seen 3 months ago to not say Messi.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so who would you rather like Man United sign, Messi or Alvarez?
Messi.
Fair. If I had to pick Argentina's best player, yeah, I would pick Messi, to be fair. He had an exceptional World Cup. As great as Alvarez is, he doesn't even start for Man City, unfortunately. Then again, that Man City have got Haaland, who you could say is the best player in the world. You could say that. I'm not saying he is. But yeah, cool. Best player.
Yeah, we can easily. I just want to have another point on that. I think Alvarez is great, but for me, I'd probably have Emi Martinez and Romero for Argentina anyway, and Romero over him in terms of their importance and their value to that team. Because throughout the whole of qualifying, what just happened to my TV? Sorry, throughout the whole of qualifying, Lautaro Martinez was their top goal scorer as well. Alvarez wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Lautaro Martinez got like 16 goals in qualifying or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we saw in the World Cup when it came to the big moments, Lautaro Martinez had to get shifted for Alvarez. Like, he's not... I don't think he's good, to be fair. They're probably at the same... In terms of like what they've done in their careers, at the same level. In terms of actual ability, yeah, Alvarez might be better. Who else have you got for Argentina? You've got Di Maria as well.
Di Maria, yeah. I mean, De Paul isn't the greatest footballer, but the role he does in that team in terms of breaking up play and just fucking being an absolute madman.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen how good Enzo was as well.
Yeah.
You know, even Otamendi in that team was. I thought he had an amazing World Cup.
Yeah, and he's a player who's been much maligned.
Yeah, and he kept out Lisandro Martinez, who is a great player himself.
Now that's the thing. Do you think Otamendi is better than Lisandro Martinez?
I don't think Otamendi's better than Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah, so
he might be a better like raw defender in terms of like winning headers and tackling and stuff like that. But I think what Lisandro offers you as a footballer, I think Lisandro is better. But then like I think it's about the balance of the defense, because if you were to have Lisandro and Romero there together, they're both aggressive and they're both like not tall for centre halves. Otamendi's not the tallest either, but he's obviously taller than Lisandro. Whereas I think if you have like 6 foot Romero and 5'8" Lisandro Martinez at the back, you're susceptible, especially with how tall small the rest of the team is as well.
Yeah, obviously I asked that because you know, we touched on that Messi, without him they don't win the World Cup. Similarly without Lisandro Martinez, Argentina probably, if we see it, they do win the World Cup, but he's better than Romero. Can the same principles apply there with Alvarez and Messi? Possibly, to be fair. I think it would be interesting in terms of if they were both given the same game time in their both preferred positions right now, who would do the better numbers? But then it's like, is football just numbers?
But then even for PSG, Messi's got more goals and assists than he does appearances this season.
Yeah. He's having a solid season for his standards. It's like you look at 12 goals and 10 assists. It's nowhere near what he was doing in 2012. But for the average player,
if that's Alvarez having that season, you say that's an insane season.
Probably, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, can you get Alvarez on that one? Alvarez is Messi's Argentina's best player. Their worst player for me is no, he didn't get. Their worst player for me is Molina.
Okay.
Yeah, it was between him and Tagliafico. They're fullbacks, definitely their weak point. But I just went with Molina. I can't really give me
Yeah,
a logical explanation why.
I think it's the fullback on the other side. I think it's Acuna. I think he's dog.
He's quite bad. He's quite bad. I don't rate him.
Neither do I. Neither
Yeah,
do I. He's like, I don't know. There's some things he does that are good. Like he'll like knock the ball past like two players, and then he'll just cross it and he'll go for a throw in.
yeah. Nah, he's not good. He's never really been good either.
He's not.
Nah. Keelan, who do you think's their worst player?
So I went for the pool, just because I don't like his game. It's just one of those bit of liability players. Obviously, he's not like looking at their team, and they don't rotate much, so it was quite hard to choose someone. I just thought, he's an Atletico Madrid player, and I'm not a huge fan of him.
Yeah,
like, as in
I know what you
that
mean.
Atletico Madrid player, like what comes with that in terms of just kicking legs and aggression.
He's a typical Argentine footballer, isn't he? Really,
Mm.
in terms of like, he's not like amazing technically, but he is up for the fight every game. So I guess he's useful in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know. When he was at Udinese, I thought he was. I was expecting things from him when he moved to Atletico Madrid. But
he's a very similar player to his club manager. Actually, he's a very similar player to Diego Simeone.
Yeah. You could say that. Both proper aggressive. Bulldogs in the midfield. Yeah, I hear that as worst player. Because sometimes with worst players, not also like a player like Talifico or Acuna, who said might be their worst player, but they won't necessarily detriment their team like that. And at times in the World Cup, maybe the pool was kind of a detriment to the team. So I hear that as well. All right, if we had to agree on one, we say I don't mind going with Acuna. Actually, to be fair,
they're the ones being rotated, so it's one of any of those fullbacks probably.
I'd say Acuna. I think Molina's actually okay. But Acuna and Tagliafico are both not great. Although Tagliafico is playing okay for Lyon at the moment, he's playing all right.
Yeah, in patches he was good for Ajax as well, but
I mean, when you can't lock down a game for Ajax, that's kind of
it's true.
Yeah, it's kind of warning signs, isn't it? To be honest,
it is 100%. And the greatest ever Argentinian player, Keelan, for you, who's that?
It's Messi, of course.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's Messi, but realistically, it's actually very close. If Messi didn't win the World Cup, it's probably Maradona, but Messi. Because the thing is with the whole like greatest of all time thing for the nations is I look at it. I don't just look at like the best player. I look at what they achieved for the country as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, if Messi didn't have the World Cup, although he's clearly like done more in his career with club than Maradona has, and he's probably a way better player. It's in terms of what Maradona achieved with Argentina. But obviously, Messi's now got there's 2 trophies and the Super Cup with Argentina now.
Yeah, no, you're right. Without the last 2 years, definitely it's a very even debate. Especially, the symbol Maradona is to Napoli and Argentina. It's nothing like what any player is like today for their country or their club. So, but yeah, with the last World Cup, he's their record goal scoring World Cups. He's their record goal scorer period. Yeah, reeled off the stats before. Yeah, go on.
I think the only one who's got that stardom like Maradona is Messi. I think he's the only one who is comparable to in terms of like being sort of like a god amongst men.
Yeah, I think
because I didn't think it until I seen that the other day when like they were doing the celebrations and there was millions of people in Argentina and they were all like bowing down to him and praying to him and stuff. That's when I sort of thought like, like this guy's probably one of the most adored people on planet Earth. Like, as much as like some religious figures and stuff like that is crazy.
Probably. We've obviously got R9 and Pele as well, especially Pele. We'll get onto those players. You know who else Argentina have? I didn't realize they have Di Stefano. He's an Argentinian as well. And he obviously had the Brazy record, 5 Champions Leagues. But no, he's a worthy shout. Yes, he's a worthy shout. Like he's not. I
think he kind of slips. He slips through the cracks, doesn't he? Because of Messi and Maradona.
Yeah, he does.
And probably because it was so long ago as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's just kind of out of sight, out of mind, a bit too much for him.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to Brazil now. This, I think, is an interesting one as well. Brazil's best player. I was torn between two players,
Same.
both with the surname
Argentina.
Junior. And
okay.
yeah, well, okay. You're thinking of another player.
Yeah, so was I.
I think I will just about. Oh, that's so tough. They're Brazil's best player because in my top 10, I had the certain player, I have another player. But I'm going to go with Neymar as Brazil's best player still. I just think,
Yeah,
as good as Vinny is, he's not the go-to guy yet for Brazil. The go-to guy is Neymar. And with fine margins, he could be in a World Cup final and he could have won the World Cup because they lost on the penalties to Croatia. He scored that unbelievable goal against Croatia in extra time. And if that game goes to plan, they reach the semis, possibly reach the finals. But you could say, on the other hand, this like fine margins are a thing in football, and that's what makes the best the best. They smash those fine margins. But I'll just about go with Neymar on that one. Louie, who have you got for that?
I had a certain man written down that's going to rustle you, but I did go with Neymar in the end because I just think again it's the same sort of thing as Messi. I just when you watch and listen to the interviews that the Brazilian players have, they idolize Neymar. I mean, Richarlison's got a tattoo of Neymar on his back, kind of begging it a little bit, but yeah, like Neymar again is he's been unfortunate in tournaments because like it's kind of the story of his whole career. It's like he's a nearly man. I mean, he's done great things, but he obviously got injured in 2014 in Brazil. That was meant to be his tournament as well, and then the Brazil went out embarrassingly, as we all know. And then obviously the last World Cup, he got injured a little bit as well. Didn't play again until the knockouts after only playing the first group game, and he was good against Croatia. But as you say, they lost penalties. I mean, I don't like judging a player off them losing penalties, especially when it wasn't their fault that he didn't miss a penalty. It was Marquinhos who missed obviously the vital penalty. But yeah, I mean, I did have Casemiro, and the reason being is for me he was their best player in the World Cup.
Yeah.
In terms of their most consistent player, like he was 7 out of 10 for the 5 games they played. And then, I mean, Thiago Silva was great as well. But yeah, they barely conceded any goals in the World Cup. And also as well, I mean, they've called up for this group of internationals, they've called up a very young team, but Casemiro's still there and he's played both the games as captain as well. So obviously the manager values him as you know, an important sort of maybe fatherly figure in the team. So yeah, I think the responsibility for him is huge at club and country, but I think Neymar is probably one of the greatest of all time, so you can't really not have him there, especially since it's not like he's finished.
Yeah, he's not. He's injured at the moment. And yeah, you can have your view on that. Like, injuries are a thing, and if you are injured for a long period of time, it's hard to really judge a player. Keelan, who have you got as Brazil's best player?
Yes, I went for Casemiro. Because I think he's a top player. Obviously, for Brazil, so in sort of evaluating a lot of these lists with the teams like Brazil that haven't really sort of just had any sort of national success for any of the players in the current sides. I sort of looked at sort of club football a bit more, and I think just Neymar, he was very good, and he is their top goal scorer. But like being their top goal scorer doesn't mean like anything in the moment. There's been better examples of that throughout time. Like sort of Giroud's their France's top goal scorer at the moment. But it doesn't mean he's the best player in that squad by any means when Mbappe is like 15 behind him. I just think Casemiro is a better player. I think he can offer a bit more to that Brazil team. But Neymar is he hasn't had a full season in about 6 years. So I struggle to look past that.
I mean, the top goal scorer for Brazil, Look how many
Yeah.
great Brazilian players there's been. Yeah. Wait, is he broke Pelle's record?
No, he probably hasn't broke it.
I think he's like,
close.
I think he's like 4 goals off or 3 goals off or something like
Goals
that.
off.
Yeah,
Man,
he's very close.
nah, you can't say that ain't much, man, because like Casemiro was their best player in the World Cup.
I'm gonna VAR it.
No, but that's what like the GOAT angles for. Like for me, this is like best player at the moment. Like the next, if I'm manager going into the next international tournament, who is the first player I don't want to get injured for that squad? I think, especially having Vinicius Junior, it supports my argument in the fact that he's such a good alternative to Neymar that I could deal with Neymar being injured. I could deal with Vinny being injured and just having the other one. But if Casemiro's got that, that knowledge of the game that he brings to a team, I think it's something I wouldn't want to miss as a coach.
Guimaraes not do the job at DM.
No. I've just VAR'd it, and Neymar has 77 goals and Pele has 77 goals, so he will break that record very soon. That's a lot of goals as well.
Yeah.
That's no Pedley 54 like England. 77's a lot of international goals.
Yeah, that is a lot, man. Yeah, I hear Casemiro in the sense of best isn't just your forwards. Like Casemiro
No, it's not.
has had stiff competition as well for the DM spot when Fabinho was actually at it and he was still the Brazil DM. And the availability thing is fair. Like Neymar not completing a full season is it's a mad detriment to him. I just don't know if Brazil can reach certain heights without Neymar, man. I don't know if they. I think it's also the aura he brings to the team as well, man. Like if you're a position team, you saw that game Brazil had against Cameroon. I know it was a dead rubber game, but Neymar weren't playing. They still had a decent 11. You had Martinelli and Antony, but you ain't got Neymar, bro, and you lose the game, man. Like I don't know. I think,
but there is kind of a debate with Neymar where it's like, because again, it's kind of like Messi. You kind of need the 10 players around him to be working for him. It's not like Neymar doesn't track; he does, but he's not someone who's gonna, for instance, like a Martinelli, he's not gonna run around and press, or like a Richarlison does for Brazil. So, is there an argument that perhaps if Neymar wasn't in that team and they had maybe a couple of years to gel together, do you think they could potentially be a better team without Neymar? I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Whereas with Casemiro, I don't think there's any sort of stretch of imagination where you could imagine them being a better team without him.
I hear that. Like Brazil can be a better team without Neymar. I think Neymar's used wrong for Brazil anyway. Like he plays in the 10. It's all because they got him and Vinicius, two left wingers, and they kind of shoehorn both of them in. If you're being really cutthroat, I think either you put Vinicius on the right or you just play one of them.
What about Neymar as like a false nine?
Kind
of like what Messi does for Argentina, where he's the furthest man forward.
Yeah, he's never really played there in his career though, so he can't.
Yeah,
you play him there.
I guess so.
Nah, look, that's it's all valid at the end of the day. I think Casemiro is a top player, arguably the best DM in the world. Neymar isn't. He's arguably the best left winger in the world as well. Current form, no, but yeah, I think all right. We'll stick with. So Louie voted Neymar, I voted Neymar. Keelan,
yeah.
Okay. Brazil's worst starting player for me. I'm going Lucas Paqueta, man. I've never seen the hype around him. Like he's playing centre midfield for Brazil, which is weird because he's a 10. I've watched him for West Ham this season, just not seen much. Europa League last season for Lyon. I don't get the hype, man. I think if his name was something else, bro, like
it's a nice name, lads.
Nice
if his name was Fred,
five-star skills on FIFA as well. So
yeah,
he gets used.
If his name was Fred and Fred's name was Lucas Paqueta, who would start for Brazil? Let's be honest.
Honestly, I'd definitely rather have Fred in my team than Paqueta. I don't know what he offers, man. What who you go for their worst starting player?
Yes, I went for Arthur, just for similar reasons. Obviously, I think Klopp's contributed to it a bit in just how he's completely neglected him at Liverpool. But just one of those players, never really got what he'd done at a football pitch. Kind of got dodgy moves around dodgy clubs at a dodgy time. Surprised he's still playing for Brazil, but like, it'll be interesting to see where he is at club level next
He's
year.
a money laundering scheme, I think.
Yeah, so he played against Morocco, which is what just the game I went off. That I started.
He hasn't played at all. That is weird.
Is that the right Arthur? Or is it a different Arthur?
It could easily not.
That has to be a different one, man.
Yeah, it has to be a different Arthur.
He played in centre mid.
If it's him, then fairs.
Arthur, or is like Fabinho's name like Arthur or something?
Because Arthur's Arthur Melo, isn't it? It's Arthur Melo.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've named some random 20-year-old.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
I guess then. Apologies.
That's all right. I've just got here. I just put any of the fullbacks. So that's either Sandro, Telej, Danilo, Lodi, any of them Donnies, basically.
Yeah, they are bad. But
they're all so shit.
They are bad, but they're not that significant a part of their system. Though I feel like.
That's a problem though, because they were playing Militao at right back.
Yeah, true. It is a problem. Nah, they're valid.
You don't want Militao at right back, man.
They're valid. I just picked Paqueta because I think he's so like he's got a lot more responsibility in that team, and he doesn't just live anywhere near to it. He was okay in the World Cup. I mean, I think Brazil's selections are weird. I think Richarlison isn't even a bad shout for me. I don't think he's top level.
But he banged goals for them though in the World Cup.
Yeah, he had a good World Cup. He did,
and his record for them's good as well. I'm pretty sure he's got like. Don't quote me on this specifically, but I'm pretty sure he's got like 9 goals in 12 games or something for them.
Yeah, his record for them is good. I just think he gets the most minutes up top though, man. It's kind of like
it's kind of like a default got like you're gonna score. Mind you, though, Jesus didn't score. He wasn't prolific for them.
Yeah, Jesus isn't prolific. Full stop. So
I was tempted to put him just to rattle you, man, in it.
Not a chance.
Yeah, I will back Paqueta, and the reason being, right, he's a facade, and also as well, if you're as good as everyone says you are, how have you ended up at West Ham, bro?
Yeah, exactly. From
it's the same with Scamacca
as well. Like you've been at big clubs, Milan, Lyon, big clubs, and you're at West Ham. Like
you've ended up at West Ham. You've not even gone Spurs, fam. You've gone West Ham.
Yeah, and what Brazilian players going to West Ham ever? Like a top player? I've never seen that, bro. I've never seen that. So yeah. We can't quite. Okay, Paqueta got the majority of the votes there, and the Brazilian goat. I will go for Pele.
Yeah, rest in peace, Pele.
Yeah, Pele as well.
Pele, 1K goals. I don't know how many hat tricks he got. 3 World Cups. Yeah, there's.
Done it all in Brazil as well, which I feel like would have helped a lot at the time.
Do you know what's funny? I was speaking to my granddad the other day about that Brazil team, and he was saying to me he was like, oh, none of them played in Europe, like none of their, and when they did come in Europe, it was weird because they went to like smaller teams in Europe, but he was saying like at the time apparently the South American leagues were like the best in the world.
Yeah,
He was saying like Zico, Pele, Socrates, Jairzinho, Carlos Alberto. He said all of these guys played in Brazil and they were amazing. And apparently when they played the European teams, they used to bop them about.
Yeah, well, they bopped the world about with the 3 World Cups. So it makes sense. Yeah. And they were mainly, I don't know what happened to that league. It would be interesting to actually know. But
to be honest, it's probably still quite competitive, to be honest. It just doesn't pay as much as what the European league does.
I think that's it, actually. Those teams do sometimes put up a surprise in the Club World Cup. So, you're actually probably right. All right, moving on to France. France's best player, gone with Mbappe. I don't think... Yeah, that's quite straightforward. Would you agree, guys? Or
Mbappe as well.
Nah, Rabiot, man.
Rabiot.
Nah, it's Mbappe.
Yeah, it's Mbappe. France's worst starting player, I've gone with another player similar to Paqueta. I've never really seen that much from him, but he's got quite a bit of hype. But he has actually gone to a good club. Koundé, I don't know.
I hear it every time I watch him. He's arse. I was tempted to put him because like he was shit for me in the World. He got ripped a lot in the World Cup, and then like Rashford had him, and Garnacho had him on toast as well when United played Barca. Like he was arse, but then their defensive record this year is very good, Barcelona, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he just gets away with being in his comfort zone, and when he's out of his comfort zone, he's not very good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has to be said as well. He's playing out of position, isn't he? He's playing as a right back, even though he's a centre back.
That's true. And that was the same for Pavard as well, who, if he was like a starter, I would have probably... Yeah, that's true. Who have you gone for in terms of...
I went for Rabiot.
I went for
very similar player to Arthur, but how I see him. But I don't know how he's keeping like Camavinga out of that starting 11. But I'm not.
I put Lloris.
Oh yeah, that's a valid shout. I must say,
Lloris is a very valid shout.
He stinks.
If Rabiot wasn't there, I'd have Lloris.
Yeah, because I originally had down Rabiot, but I don't actually think Rabiot is that bad. Like he's not good, but he's not like he's okay.
I think he's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. He is all right. Whereas Lloris is bad.
Yeah, I just checked. Lloris has retired for France. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he was there, I probably still would have gone Koundé. They got Moran.
Moran, yeah. Did you see his little speech the other day on his first start for France? Well, his first start as number one. He done his little speech, and he was basically saying I'm going to keep you guys in check. It was obviously I don't speak French, but it was translated. He's like, I'm going to keep you guys in check. You guys need to keep your zones. I'm going to make sure that you guys are holding your zones properly and stuff like that. He was talking like he's a proper leader.
Fair enough. And you got
Lloris is captain for time, wasn't he?
Mbappe's captain now, isn't
he? Yeah. That's the thing. He was captain, but he was literally just captain because I don't know, probably because he was only playing that team.
He's just captain because he's old and white, bro. That's why.
Yeah.
Never joking.
It's because he's a mature white man, bro. He just got given the captaincy.
Is he captain of Spurs as well?
Yeah, he is.
Bro, in that All or Nothing documentary, I never saw him say anything.
He's tiny as well.
Yeah.
If that guy tried telling me talking to him, I'd be like, fuck off, bro. You little fucking Tory.
Yeah, that's strange. As much as I've rated him in the past, I wouldn't have him as a captain. I feel
he was good 3-4 years ago, but last 2 years he's been so bad, man.
Yes. Spurs need to be replacing him.
Apparently they want Dean Henderson, isn't it?
Yes. He's got potential. I mean, I side at Ramsdale and look at him now.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the French go. I'll have to go with Zinedine Zidane, to be honest. As much as I would love to go with Henry, I just think for GOAT status, you have to go with who's the go-to guy, who was their guy in the top moments. And it has to be Zidane. For me.
Yeah, I agree. It's Zidane. Although, do you know what? Some of the discourse around Zidane recently is that he was actually rather inconsistent.
Yeah.
But obviously, you have to appreciate a great player. And I actually think I know that France team won the World Cup and the Euros, the one that Zidane was in, and I know he scored goals in key games. However, I think this France team, obviously, a World Cup win, a Euro final, and a World Cup final. I think some of the guys who are mainstays in that team, for instance, it seems funny because it's Giroud, but he genuinely has a case in terms of the moments he's been there for. I mean, even someone like Varane or someone like that, he's been there for all of these games. You know, these guys. If it wasn't for a fine margin, for instance, if it wasn't for Eder scoring a wonder goal from 20 yards out, and if it wasn't for, a bit of Messi magic and a bit of Emi Martinez magic, these guys could have 2 World Cups and a Euros.
And
one of them,
the Euros final before that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So these guys could have You know, it's fucking
It's the name of our history. Yeah, definitely. It could have.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even Mbappe could be there right now.
Nah, you're right. Mbappe does have a case. And if I think about him, I did have him fourth in my best players of all time list. So he should actually be, he should actually be my number one. Um, but greatest of all time is arguably different from best.
Yeah, I think at the time he retires, he will be their greatest player of all time and one of the greatest players of all time. Whether he can reach like Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona, Pele levels is obviously remains to be seen. But I do think he will retire as France's best player of all time. He will almost certainly be their top goal scorer of all time, probably their most decorated player of all time, especially with the young generation they've got of players. And yeah, I mean they've been there in the big moments as well, so they're going to be there in big moments again. You know, that's not a question. So it's whether or not they can capitalize on that, and if they do, then he will have as much to his name as Zidane does. So
yeah, he's got one more season at PSG for me, man. If he doesn't win the Champions League next season with PSG, he must leave. Like, I know it would be great if he becomes a guy who revolutionizes PSG, wins them their first Champions League. But sometimes you got to be cynical. Just how I feel with Kane, he's got to leave Spurs.
I agree.
Mbappe must go to Real Madrid. Keelan, who have you got as the French goat?
So I went for Henry. And then I also said Mbappe did cross my mind, and it was like 3 finals, but he lost 2 of them, won one of them, in which that comparison to that Henry Zidane team, they played 3 big finals, they won 2 of them, and then that third final, I think Zidane was a huge part to why they lost. He just didn't help his whole country in that moment. They headbutted a guy in the World Cup final. I think before that, I just think in terms of contributions to that World Cup and Euros, him and Zidane were probably pretty even. But for you to go into that third final and to headbutt someone and get sent off just before penalties, I think it's almost that's what sort of put it on to Henry sort of for me. And I think sort of like a bonus point on top of that is that if I was a sort of French fan and sort of Zidane's retired right after this World Cup, and then sort of World Cup 2010 qualifiers, you've got Henry cheating for his country and getting them into the World Cup in 2010 was as much as me and my dad hated seeing that at the time. Like if it was the other way around, we'd be screaming and cheering. And that is the sort of stuff I think remembers you for within your country. And I think one really has a pretty good argument based on that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I never quite thought of that.
Zidane retired this whole time.
Yeah,
as well. Like,
you know, I've just had a thought. Yeah, you know, if Pogba was fit for this World Cup, he could have actually made himself the French goat. You know,
he could have made himself the French goat. Yeah.
Because he would have had 2 World Cups, obviously a Euro final, and I mean we've all seen the speech at the World Cup final from 2018. Yeah, and he was unreal that tournament. He was incredible. And to be honest, right, this is gonna sound crazy to people, but Zidane's kind of lucky he wasn't in the social media era yet. I think if him and Pogba switched time periods, they both would be looked at very differently.
Yeah, he is lucky he was not in the extra critical era where we analyze stats, because we've gone through the stats and there's players who've got better goals and assists and players who've won more. So, you know, and obviously he's got Ballon d'Ors to his name, but we've talked about it before. Ballon d'Ors is one way or another a popularity contest. So,
and as well, would Zidane have won a Ballon d'Or in the Messi and Ronaldo era? I don't think he would have.
No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have, in my opinion. The problem is, you've got people from that era who really talk so highly. You kind of have to listen because you don't want to. I mean, we're probably going to do that in 10 years' time with this era.
Yeah, when we have kids and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I'll be telling. Well, there'll be someone comes around who my son thinks is the best ever, and I'll be telling him about Messi, and he will be like, "Nah, that guy played when science wasn't as advanced as it is now."
Yeah, exactly. With Zidane, right? He was for ages the most expensive player of all time. He had the goal against Leverkusen in the final, and he had the 2 goals in the World Cup final 1998. And those things hold massive, massive weight. And it wasn't really for those 3 moments. I don't know if we would call him the GOAT. So I don't know. I'm kind of revising it. You've obviously got Platini there as well.
Yeah, that's
one more
probably who my dad would say, I reckon.
Yeah, there's another French player I had in my head as well. Obviously, you got Just Fontaine.
Just Fontaine,
Yeah, rest in peace, man. He died
How
that day.
did they? I also never get how France didn't win that World Cup.
I
You got one brother scoring 14 goals and he didn't score at any other World Cups over.
Yeah.
When he died the other day, that's the first photo I've ever seen of him, and he looks so different to how I thought he would look. I have no idea why yet, but I thought he was like mixed race or black. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't think he was white. Yeah,
neither did I.
That's so.
But why did I think he was white? He was a French man from the 50s.
Honestly, and to be fair, I actually thought he passed already. Like I thought because 1958 he scored those 13 goals, and it's a long time ago, man.
I was born in Marrakesh.
Is that?
He was born in Marrakesh.
He could have easily been Arab. Yeah, so I thought he was like race. He was Arab, wasn't he? So I mean,
he doesn't look like French. I wouldn't say, but yeah, he does. That does make sense.
Another player who's got a shout is Karim Benzema. You have to say.
Yeah, not for France though. I don't think.
Not for France, no.
In terms of like being in terms of player.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. England, best English player at the moment. This actually is a bit of a debatable one. I've gone, unfortunately, with Harry Kane because whilst I think Saka's on a bit more of a up than Kane in terms of where he is in the league, Kane is still the go-to guy for England. Like,
of course,
Kane is not getting subbed ever. Like, if Kane is not in the England team, other countries looking at him thinking, wow, like, we've got a chance here. You know, I don't think England have that with any other player. Any other player can be out of the England team and you don't really notice it. And he's had debate. He's had, obviously, Sterling was good, really good 2021 Euros. Saka's really good in the moment. But yeah, I've gone with Kane. Lou, who you gone with?
I've gone with Kane as well. But I must admit, Saka did cross my mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, Saka was very, very close. I think other than that, I don't know who really. I mean, it's Stones, Rice, Shaw. So yeah, I think Kane's the guy. I think.
Yeah, quite an easy one actually. I mean,
yeah, I'm Kane as well.
Clean sweep. Worst England player. Keelan, I'll go to you first.
I don't Jordan Pickford. Don't think he's that great of a football player at all. He makes good. Like, he's had some really good saves. If you made the montage, he'd look like a really good goalkeeper. But I just think I've seen enough of a lot of goalkeepers now. I just know if you're facing shots every game and you're allowed to concede some of them, when you do, you're gonna make some good saves. Like, it's just natural to happen. He's been at Everton and they've not really been a great side the whole time he's been there. It's got a hell of a kick, but as a goalkeeper, and I think he can kick really far, but his actual distribution in terms of like dribbling and sort of picking out the shorter, more simple passes, he's not that great at. He's obviously good at the more long ones to sort of wingers running in behind, but the actual the like sort of distribution that I'd want him to see sort of carry out at like somewhere like Arsenal, I don't think he'd be able to do that well. And I just think he's the worst guy in the starting 11.
That is literally my comments on Jordan Pickford. I don't need to say anything on him. He's the worst player in the England team for me. Louis, who do you think it is?
See, it's tough, right?
Okay.
Because I've got Maguire.
Valid.
Because I think Maguire's more detrimental than what Pickford is in terms of, like, we have to play sort of 10, 15 yards deeper because of Maguire. And I don't think, like, the thing with Pickford is, obviously I think Aaron Ramsdale's better in terms of, like, he's got better distribution. He's as a shot stopper, they're probably even.
Yeah.
But I just think Pickford, Maguire has as well, but I think Pickford, when we've needed him, has always stepped up for England. Obviously, he saved 2 penalties in the shootout in the Euro final. If we won that final, we're probably saying he's the greatest England goalkeeper ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely up there.
Yeah, no, he is up there. He probably, to be fair, all things considered, other than like Gordon Banks, people like that,
Yeah.
of our lifetime, he's probably
He's behind Banks and Shilton.
yeah.
No,
I mean, in our lifetime,
he's fourth. David Seaman's probably number one.
But for England though, like Pickford has had better moments than David Seaman has.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Maguire. I can hear Pickford. I'm happy to go with you guys saying Pickford. Obviously, I've been outnumbered anyway. But I think if you replace like a Maguire with a Levi Colwill, I think we'd improve a lot. Whereas if we replace Pickford with Ramsdale, we'd improve marginally.
Yeah, Maguire ran through my mind as well. Like watching him the last 2 games, I think you do see he's not the level, man. Like he's there was this thing with him where it's like he's really good for England, but I just think we're just stuck in 2018 with that, man. Like when you're watching players like Ben White week in week out, watching Levi Colwill, you can just see even a Tomori, you can see Maguire, even Gahey, yeah. You can see Maguire ain't it in 2023, man, and
Maguire's excellent in games where we dominate the ball and he hasn't got a lot to do and he can sort of walk out at 0 miles per hour and do these nice passes, which he's good at, and he can head the ball away for fun. Great. But we've seen it with United, we've seen it with England. When it comes to people actually running at him and making him think about doing something, he's crap.
Yeah.
He's a mid, not bad player. He's mid. He's very slow, and in the right system, he's useful. But for England, if we want to be a top nation, we can't have someone who is slower than my nan at the back.
100%, man.
He's sick at corners, though. To be fair, I feel like his goal scoring record for England is quite good, but that's not what you want to be choosing. Do you know what? I do think that's what Southgate's seeing, because
I agree.
He's like, whenever we get a corner, it's like, it's like a free kick on the edge of the box. Like,
yeah, it's true, and it's kind of like, in a way, yeah, because he's obviously England's top goal scoring defender of the 21st century. But also, right, and this is the same as United, for the amount of headers he wins, he should genuinely score more goals than he does, because he wins every single header and he does not score many. He's got a 50 pence piece head. If his finishing with his head was as good as Harry Kane, he'd have about 30-40 England goals. I'm not joking.
Yeah, today he should have got 2 goals. He should have got 2 goals today. Like,
yeah, he should have.
So he's wasteful.
I'm pretty sure that would take him up to like 13 for England as well. I'm pretty sure he's got like 10, 11 for England.
Yeah. Look, he's been a great servant for England. You can't deny that, man. Like, unreal servant. Unreal in the 2018 World Cup. Unreal in the Euros when even I was kind of calling for Tyrone Mings to be playing the But yeah, Maguire is definitely second for me. To Pickford, but he's
also
not
Phillips as well.
Phillips, yeah, Phillips
and Henderson.
Yeah, no, honestly, the back 6 is problematic for me, man, for England. Like,
Rice and Stones are fine, and Shaw's fine.
Yeah, and Carl Walker to an extent's fine as well. Yeah, it's just the central areas. Yeah. Okay, England's GOAT. Right, I'll go with between 2 players for me. I'll go with Sir Bobby Charlton on that one. So Bobby Charlton is the England GOAT.
I didn't even think that far back, fam.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's a Bobby Charlton.
I try and run a Jeff Hurst narrative, because when you say a hat trick in the only final that we've won, that sounds crazy on paper, but the nature of that tournament meant that he got 1 goal throughout the rest of the tournament, and Charlton is the guy that is spoken about from that team.
Yeah, Bobby Moore as well.
Yeah, but them two mainly.
Yeah.
Our only international trophy. I think it was as simple as that for me.
It's really sad, isn't it, actually, thinking about it? Like a country who have produced as many good players as England, and like we, in terms of football culture, like we are probably the leading, like us and a couple of others are like the leading country in terms of football culture. Like there's not a game that's played at the weekend that isn't talking about at every level. That's from like the 13th tier upwards. There's always there's always people going to watch the games. It's kind of sad to think we haven't won anything since '66 with the talent we produce. You know, our academies nowadays as well are amazing, and we still don't produce teams that win tournaments. It's weird.
Yeah, with all the players and the money that's in the Premier League and the money that's in football academies, yeah, it's staggering. Especially when you see the nations that have won competitions like Greece and Denmark.
Mate,
it's
even Italy at the last Euros, bro. Like,
yeah, and
you look at their team the other day.
Yeah, it's also the fact that 60 years, right? And how many close attempts have there been? Yeah. Realistically, one, right? Which is Euro 2021. Because a semi-final, ask a German fan about a semi-final. That's just where it's supposed to be as a top team.
Yeah.
And England have only been in 3 semi-finals: 1990, 2018, and 1996. Especially as well when Euros used to be a way lot easier. It was literally group stage and you're in the quarters. Yeah. So no, it's shocking, to be fair. Right?
Because obviously, I think like Rooney crossed my mind as well. But I think like, that period where Rooney was in, that's like the worst isolated period. Like no, like a quarter final would be good. No semi-finals, no finals, and then there was like there was Euros that England weren't qualifying for in that time, which is just it's mad to think because there was crazy players in those squads, but like if Rooney had come maybe a bit closer, got to the final and lost it, like I could have had that argument a bit longer, but there's just not much to go off at all, really.
I think for England as well, not for United, but for England, Rooney was a bit of a flat track bully as well.
Okay.
Like he scored a lot of goals in qualifiers and like in group stages and stuff, but when it got to the knockouts, he didn't really score many goals at all.
Nah, that was the same for England. Yeah.
But I mean, for United, he scored in multiple finals, and multiple big games. Like he would always score in big games for United, but when it just came to England, for some reason, he just didn't switch it on. I guess another shout's David Beckham, or the lads amongst us would probably say Gaza.
Yeah, talent wise.
Yeah, and I think it's because he's like a working class hero as well. People resonate with him.
You got Michael Owen there as well. You've got Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Alan Shearer as well. I think those
Lineker.
Gary Lineker as well. Yeah, 100%.
Even Kane, not gonna lie.
Kane, Terry Ferdinand. Yeah, man. I think Kane for sure is definitely Kane's actually close, man, because if we talked about the final attempts and that he's been in those teams, Sterling as well. I don't think we'll see where Sterling ends up in his career, but he could be in the conversation as well if he turns his career back around. But yeah, we'll go with Bobby Charlton for that one. Spain, best Spanish player. This one again was tough for me because my favorite Spanish player is definitely Rodri, but he doesn't play centre mid for Spain, and I have to take that into account. My thing is go-to guy. Who's the go-to guy for Spain? And for me, that has to be Pedri.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. Who have you got?
I went for Rodri. Not that thought didn't cross my mind once, but just thought, he's a good player. The best at club level that I saw sort of within the team. I hear Pedri. I definitely, I'd probably change it to Pedri. Actually, I can get that answer. From what I remember at Euros, he was playing like 120 minutes every day. Like he was the sort of beating heart almost at that team within that team.
Yeah, that guy's been playing every 3 days for the past like fucking 27 years, bro, and he's only 19. Like, I feel like he's played like 400 games of football already.
Yeah,
and he hasn't lost the ball once in all of those games.
Yeah, he's top notch, man. Elite player already at the age of 20. If we're looking at the trajectories as well, not many players in football have a better trajectory than him. Obviously he's got Gavi with him as well, who's obviously a shout. But yeah, that was quite simple. Pedri for that one. Rodri definitely honorable mention. Well, you've got Busquets as well, who's still balling out, to be fair.
Yeah, he is, and he's like so irreplaceable in terms of what he provides to Barcelona and provides to Spain. When he retires, I think people will give him his flowers. I mean, people give him his flowers now, but I think the casuals will give him his flowers when he retires. People will start to sort of realise how good this guy was.
Yeah, still, obviously, he's a bit younger than Xavi Iniesta, but he was in those great teams. He's still in those teams now, and obviously Spain got rid of a lot of their players like Sergio Ramos, PK quite quickly, but they didn't get rid of Busquets, man, because he's still like quite invaluable to that team.
Yeah, I think if you ask a Spanish person probably who their best player is, they probably would say Busquets because of the way they view football. But yeah, I'd say Pedri. Pedri for me.
Yeah, fair. Worst player for me again. Why does this guy get so many minutes, man? Danny Olmo.
I know who you're gonna say. Yes,
Danny
so bus driver.
You've got Spain haven't got a forward line like England or France, yeah, but you've still got Ferran Torres, still got
who's also shit. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, to be fair, he is.
Ansu Fati, even Morata,
even Asensio. Like none of those players. Yeah, exactly. None of those players I would really say are shoo-ins. But why is Olmo shoo-in? Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
What position even is he? Is he a striker? Is he a winger? Is he a 10? Like what?
No, man. Like
because he's a 10. He's a cam on FIFA.
Yeah,
he just looks. Yeah, he just looks like he can run for time, and that's the only reason he's in the squad. Like
he must be crazy in training, man. Because
he don't look Spanish either, bro.
Yeah,
you know, like I can imagine that in training they all take like a few free kicks every now. I can't imagine him like scoring one or scoring like a banger in training and like everyone jumps on him. Like, I just sure that's not happened to him once. Like,
you know what it is as well with teams like Leipzig. Yeah, when a player's pulling down trees for a team like Leipzig, they get a move. And he's just not had a move, and he's been there like 4 years. So he must be so meany, bro. Because in Kunku, got to move bare quick. Werner got to move bare quick.
Sabitzer moved so fast.
Yeah, Sabitzer got to move bare quick.
Yeah,
I think Barca were in for him, at a ridiculous price.
Such a Barca thing to do.
Spanish players. It's also a bit weird that he's at Leipzig in the first place and starts. Like, they have a massive bias towards La Liga players, but Olmo, it's strange, man.
Why is he there? Why is man not at Valencia or saying, bro?
Yeah,
why is he at Leipzig?
So weird, man. But yeah, that's what I'm. Do you agree with that, or have you gone for that?
Yeah. I do.
Yes.
I've never been impressed anytime I've watched him.
Never. He scored one goal in the World Cup, like shut me up for a bit, but nah. I'm not having.
He scored one in the Euros as well.
Yeah, he's okay. Clearly, bro, he's okay, man.
It sounded like
Carragher. You have 80% possession. Like you might get a goal. Like
I don't.
That was bare funny. They just went, yeah, he's okay.
Honestly, man, I feel like I'm an MNF. The Spanish go. It's a tough one, man. You've got Casillas, you've got Villa, you've got Puyol, you've got loads of players, but I've gone with Andres Iniesta for me.
Same.
Their man in their finest hour, in Barcelona's finest hours, many a time. Xavi is a great shout. To be fair, I think they're If you choose Xavi, I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah.
Like recently, I've started to appreciate Xavi a bit, but
Yeah, excellent player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Iniesta.
There's Keelan.
Yeah. Iniesta as well. I think just for me, I think I edged him just slightly over Xavi just because of that sort of versatility across multiple years for Spain. I just feel like, yeah, he really maximised the sort of boost he can give that national team as much as he could very effectively.
Mm.
Well, to be fair, if I'm being devil's advocate, recent opinion I've heard from obviously Johnny Dutch, we should have got him on for this section.
We should have.
Actually, I won't expose his view too much, but he thinks certain players are actually a bit more crucial to the Spanish team than Iniesta. But yeah,
and the Barca team as well.
Yeah,
he said. I remember him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it a little bit, but that's probably a debate. Portugal, best Portuguese player, Louie. Come to you first.
You're gonna hate me.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, right? You can hate him, you can love him. You can't deny how effective he is in terms of goals and assists. Done it for Portugal at the World Cup. Done it for Portugal at the Euros. Does it for United all the time. Bruno Fernandes. He is a frustrating player, but he has a habit of popping up with a goal in very important moments. He has a habit of not playing well for 78 minutes and then going and bagging 2 to winning the game. I don't think there's been a signing for Manchester United who has been as influential as him for a long time. He was Portugal's best player at the World Cup. And yeah, I mean, in terms of me being a football purist, I hate myself for doing this, but as I say, you cannot deny the goals and assists.
Yeah, his numbers are quite undeniable, to be fair. Yeah, he is a worthy shout for sure. Although some of the stuff he did say there does sound like another player in that team who is.
Yes.
No, it does.
Until you said United, I thought you were saying something completely different.
No, it does. It does. However, I mean, it probably, like, in terms of overall, like, it depends what way you want to look at it, right? If you're saying like the best football player, obviously it's Ronaldo, but he got dropped in the World Cup and they didn't miss him. When Bruno got dropped for one game, they missed him and he got brought straight back in.
Yeah,
they didn't miss Ronaldo when he got dropped. In fact, his replacement scored a hat-trick.
Nah, Bruno is valiant, to be fair. As much as I actually don't hate Bruno anymore. I used to because he was getting so overrated, but he's at a base level now. I feel like people know his abilities now, and he is very good. Yeah, Keelan, who have you got as Portuguese best player?
Yeah, I went for Ruben Dias. I was almost convinced by the sort of Bruno argument, but I think it was more of like a valid argument for United than Portugal, and I think. He's probably impeded a bit by Ronaldo in having that same inevitability for Portugal. So I just think Diaz is a better. I think since he's come back for Man City, he's looked really good. I just do think he's a top centre back and Portugal's best player.
Yeah, top centre back. I've gone for him as well. Yeah, he's didn't have the greatest Euros last time round, but so at Man City, for me, so clear head and shoulders their best centre back. Like since he's come in, it's been absolutely.
Do you think?
Yeah,
he's been a monster since he's
come back. No, I agree. He's been monstrous for them, and I think he's probably their most important defender because of the stuff like he's a great defender, but he's also a leader as well.
Yeah.
I do think John Stones is a better player than him personally.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, Diaz. Yeah, do you know what? I can hear Diaz because he was second for me. He didn't play at the World Cup, right?
No, he was injured. I think
he was injured. Yeah, so I think they missed him a lot.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, they still did. They should have got semi. They should have actually. They had a great chance to get to the final.
They did have a really good
chance. They did, and it seemed like the stars were aligning for Messi versus Ronaldo. Final hurrah! But You know,
Yeah,
some things aren't meant to be, man.
yeah. Sadly, who knows,
Yeah.
man? He might get time out in his chance in 2026.
Knowing Ronaldo, he probably will be there, bro.
Honestly, I reckon. I reckon
In
so.
Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, and just all sorts of
Yeah,
crap going on.
he'll be there in Saudi Arabia when he's 46 years old for
Yeah.
the 2030 World Cup.
Yeah,
So I was even kind of surprised that he started the game the other day, if I'm honest. Like,
He started tonight as well and scored.
wow.
But
Wow.
I mean, they played Liechtenstein and Luxembourg, so
yeah.
Ronaldo, he definitely said to Martinez, like, "I'll get you sacked if you don't play me."
Them two teams have combined like national goals of like 40 all time. Like, and no one scoring for in their games. Like,
All right,
Yeah.
this can't go unaddressed, right? None of us have chosen Ronaldo as Portugal's best player, right? Despite Ronaldo scoring 2 goals the other day, scored a goal yesterday, scored a couple goals in the World Cup. One of them wasn't his. He likes claiming it was his, but it wasn't his.
That was Bruno's goal, bro. That's my player.
Yeah, true.
And
He's
Bruno
obviously-
let him have it as well.
Yeah, they
Even though it
tried to
clearly
appeal for him
is
to
not.
get it. They tried to appeal for him to get it as well.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my days! All-time top scorer, right? Has been scored a goal for him every year since 2004, but he's not there.
Man.
what are those stats though? Like, oh, he scored a goal one a year
He's
for
old.
20 years. Like,
He's old. Well done. That's
yeah.
like Giggs. That's like saying Giggs
There's
is the best
nothing
Premier League player ever because he scored in 20 seasons.
Some people say it. Some people say it.
Like, I hate those
No.
stats so much.
Same. Well
He's now
done, mate.
scored
You're
a
old.
free kick in every year since 2002. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
well done,
marking
mate.
the
You're
stats,
44 years old.
yeah.
That is
Like,
crazy.
Rogero said he also scored more in one season for Sao Paulo. Like,
You say the same thing about Ibra, bro.
Yeah, and Ibra's a phenom. Like Ronaldo.
Yeah, the longevity's great, but like, bro, just let it go. At the end of the day.
every time he plays a game, he breaks some sort of record. I don't know about. It's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's a freak. He's an absolute freak, and we're never going to see anyone like him again. But
He's not
fucking
Portugal's
hell,
best player
man.
now.
nah.
Nah, he's not.
Fair. I guess it's tough if you're playing in the Saudi league to be Portugal's best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Where would he rank then for you? Third?
Which is moving on. He's my worst player. For Portugal.
Worst. Oh my God.
Yeah,
the
do you know
guy
what?
stinks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
He's
he
playing in
does.
Saudi. He's averaging like below a goal a game. Yeah, he's now apparently okay at free kicks. Cool, like he's actually decent at free kicks.
Yeah.
But everything else, like he can't like move forward with a ball. Missed an open goal against Liechtenstein. Just misses bare open goals. Just tries to do all these fancy flicks, and literally 90% of them don't work. He's the worst player, man. Like,
Yeah, do you know
except
what?
that you
Right?
got like in the World Cup as well. Like, people didn't go hard on him enough that like he got benched, and some random that literally no one knew. Like, yeah, maybe a few people that watch sort of Portugal, but generally speaking, no one knew him. He comes in, scores a hat trick, and just makes scoring look easy, because that Portugal team is a good team. They've got tons of
Yeah.
creators
They
doing
do.
stuff, and then Ronaldo's just generating the least from that. Like, yeah, he got 2 goals the other day, but it's fucking Liechtenstein. Like, if Ireland beat Liechtenstein 4-0, I'd be disappointed. I'd be expecting more. I
do you wanna
don't
know a fun
bet on
fact
that
about
game,
Liechtenstein?
expecting it to be like a 10-0 game, and they're just winning 4-0. Like, yeah, no, he's their worst player for me.
Do you want to know a fun fact about Liechtenstein as well?
What?
So there's 195 countries recognised by the UN, and
Yeah.
Liechtenstein are ranked 198th country in FIFA World Rankings.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, it's like
they're ranked below like unrecognised countries. They're ranked below countries that are fucking like Kosovo and shit like that.
yeah.
And like fucking.
They've been generating ballers for like 5 years, and
I'm pretty sure when I was looking earlier, they're below Syria in the world rankings.
Do you know Syria have that Al Sommer guy? He's all right.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. Do you know, I had Ronaldo penciled in, but do you know what? People call me a professional Ronaldo hater, and maybe I got in my own head and didn't want to hate him as much. So I put Danilo Pereira, but it probably is Ronaldo. I'm not gonna lie.
Ronaldo, it's a good point. Like Portugal have a great team, and you can't deny he does hold them back. Like you just watch the game, you see it, man. It was the same with Man United. How could the player be so good but so bad? Like I don't understand it.
Yeah, and do you know what it is, right? People are saying about like, oh, how can Ten Hag think Weghorst is better than Ronaldo? I don't think Ten Hag thinks Weghorst is better than Ronaldo. I think Ten Hag knows that Weghorst is better for the team than Ronaldo. Yeah. That's what it is. Like, if you ask Ten Hag who's a better football player, Weghorst or Ronaldo, he'll probably laugh and say, obviously, Ronaldo. But if you say who would you prefer right now in your team, it's probably Weghorst, which is the most fucking ludicrous thing ever when you think about it.
And I think that's literally just Weghorst not making things worse. He just lets everyone continue doing what they're doing. Like, Ronaldo makes the team. Like, you're almost playing with 10 men when you're playing with Ronaldo. Especially defensively in the middle part of the pitch, you're playing with 10 men. Actually, another guy's just like an 11th man who probably loses you the ball, but doesn't win it back. Because he's getting very experimental as well with what he does. Like,
yeah,
I guess he's Ronaldo. He can do what he fucking wants, really.
He's Saudi, but not. I guess these 2 games is his opportunity. Like, it might be his last dance for Portugal. Again, it's Liechtenstein and Luxembourg, and then actually any serious game. Like, I'd be interested to see if he did start because.
I don't think he should, because Gonzalo Ramos has like 20 goals for Benfica this year and they're still a Champions League team. So if you're picking it just solely on who's the better player right now rather than just Ronaldo being Ronaldo, then there's no, like, Gonzalo Ramos has to play, really.
Yeah.
For instance, if it's England right now and you had a choice between, say, Wayne Rooney or you had a choice between Ivan Toney, you're picking Ivan Toney, aren't you? Because Wayne Rooney's fat and 37 years old. Or however old
and Rooney's younger than Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but you're not going to pick Rooney just because he's Rooney. You're going to pick Ivan Toney because he scores more goals.
Yeah. Nah.
And it really is, that phrase, like, you either die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Like,
and that's kind of why I want Messi to call it a day, man. In terms of in Europe, I want him to just be like, no, I'll go and play in America now. Because look, man, realistically, going back to Barca, what would you have to prove by going back there, bro? Just, I know you love the club, but just go to Miami, fam. Like, you've earned it.
It's true. It's crazy. He's helped them to 2 wins, but he's their worst player. And I hear it because you can't forget the Man United spell as well. Great season for him, but he took a team from second. Well, he helped take a team from 2nd to 7th, and now they're back in the 4th. It's the signs.
And they've won a trophy, which they couldn't do with him, and they're in a semi-final of one more, a quarter-final of one more, and still in a top 4 race.
Exactly. It's wild, man. I mean, as I said, I don't know how a player can be so good, so bad. I didn't have him as their worst player. I had their keeper Costa. He did that one kick in the game against Leverkusen, and everyone was saying
not having it. He's unbelievable.
You reckon?
Did you watch him in the Champions League the other day? When they played, I can't remember who they played, but they went out. But he was, bro. I don't know whether it's because I watch the hair every week, but this guy was fucking. He was catching every single corner. He was getting the ball at his feet. Yeah, he's took it round the striker and done a clipped ball over to the left back and broke the press. It was so fucking good, man.
That's good. My memories of him is just that game against Morocco, to be fair, where he fought for the goal. And I'm not to say he's a bad player. Portugal is a stacked team. I can really think of anyone else.
Yeah, I went with Danilo Pereira anyway because I think he's arse, bruv.
Yeah, nah,
he's fucking Rick Ross, man.
He's Gideon.
Gideon.
Yeah.
He's
been bald since like 23 as well. Like.
He's always in PSG. He's always in PSG teams. Always in the Portugal team. He must be right, man. I can't lie. And he's quite versatile, man. He can play centre back. Play DM.
Man runs like he's wearing jeans and Timberlands, bro.
Yeah. Nah, valid shouts. If I had to go with one of those, Ronaldo does not sound like a bad shout, but he scored those 2 goals in the goal today, you know. And
I'm going for the TikTok clips. I'm going Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Yeah. Go for Portugal.
The contrary.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
Yeah, no, he is the GOAT.
Of course he
Ronaldo.
is.
He should retire.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Ronaldo.
the GOAT, but just even a GOAT has its day, man.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Netherlands, best player. Actually a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I've gone with Van Dijk. Because whilst he's not having a great season, I don't see a player in Netherlands who's had a great season to usurp him in terms of the ranking. I do think, yeah, if you're looking at ability, I think he's ability wise their best player still. Pound for pound, obviously De Jong's a shout as well.
I went with Frankie, yeah.
Yeah, I went for Frankie as well.
Yeah.
He's a lively player whenever I watch him. And doesn't really influence results, but he's a joy to watch. And
he don't give the ball away, man. He's a bit like Pedri. You don't really give the ball away.
Yeah, doesn't really influence results, and he's their best player.
Neither does Pedri though, when you think about it.
Yeah, Pedri. So Pedri got a few goals in the World Cup.
Nah, it's Javi,
yeah. But
yeah, I mean,
he's not good as Pedri though.
Do you know what it is? I think Van Dijk is a good shout, but I mean, he's just been too bad this year for me to think about that. Whereas I think Frankie, I'm not going to act like I watch every Barcelona game. I don't, but on the rare occasion where I do watch him, he's very good. And I mean, the other day when he announced he was injured, Depay came out and said, "Oh, I'm disappointed he's injured. He's our most important player." So
yeah, and they're top of the league, so yeah, that's a fair shout. The Dutch worst player for Holland. I've gone with Berghuis. Not much to say about him. Like I should probably do my more, but I don't think he's putting up trees where he's playing. It's bad. I actually don't know where he's playing, but I saw he's
playing at Ajax.
Play for Ajax.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's all right. I think he's an Eredivisie devil player, but in terms of that I saw the other day, he jumped out to me as their worst player.
He was at Watford a couple of years ago.
There we go, man. So yeah, who are you guys gone for?
I've gone with De Roon, because I've watched him so many times, but I don't think I've ever actually watched him, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I've seen him play so many times, but I don't think I've ever noticed him on the pitch. And that's weird for me with midfielders. Normally I notice midfielders a lot. But I could have easily gone with the other Bergwijn.
Yeah, he's poor. Spurs.
Yeah, he's crap.
Yeah, he had his moments at Spurs, but he never had a performance at Spurs. I never saw him for 90 minutes and thought, oh my gosh, he's giving the fullback a hard day.
Yeah, he needs to just start doing athletics or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I went for Weghorst myself. I'm not sure how often he starts, but he got subbed on the other day against France. Just not a great football player.
He almost got them.
He's like 30, and he's not played at a high level once. I don't know why he's getting all this love so late in his career, but fair play to him.
He almost got them through the World Cup. He almost got them beating Argentina, didn't he? He came on and scored 2.
Yeah.
Gave us one of the best moments probably in the World Cup ever in terms of that goal where it went underneath the wall and he scored.
Yeah.
But he's not very good.
Yeah, he is dead, but like I think he stands out as well, and I think that kind of doesn't help him. Like obviously he's 6'6", and he's not great in the air. Like so he stands out, but he's playing for Man United week in week out, man.
I don't actually think he's bad when he plays for United. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like he's not horrible, but
he's all right.
You can see that with another player that like you can see he's so upgradable. I think that's the thing.
Of course.
He's not a bad shout for work. I just think for a nation like Netherlands who aren't particularly stacked, to go for him, I don't know. I think that's harsh considering he's a starter for one of the best teams in England at the moment. But I get it at the same time.
I think that's due to favourable circumstances. Like Snogo
he got very lucky
leading striker for a bit. Like literally every United fan is waiting for the day that they sign a new striker. And I know no United fans looking forward to going into next season with him. Yeah, make that what you will.
Yeah, he's not even the best striker currently at United, but Martial's just made of glass, unfortunately.
Yeah, true. All right, Darun. I'll go. Darun's a good shout. To be fair, I've never noticed him. I'll side with that. The Dutch goat. I've gone with Marco van Basten.
Fairs.
Yeah, was their best player in their only international winning team. Scored one of the greatest goals ever. Period. Unbelievable record for Milan. Won multiple. Oh my days! I forgot one player. Damn. Actually,
I went for Cruyff. That's probably the player
I
you've
completely
got.
forgot about
Yeah,
Cruyff.
I went for Cruyff.
Yeah, the godfather of football, not Ragnick, him.
Okay, it's Cruyff. It's Cruyff.
Yeah.
It's Cruyff. You can't argue that. But I'll have Van Basten second, I think.
Yeah, fairs.
Yeah. And then I'd have maybe Van Persie. No, I'll have Robin third, probably.
Not Gullit.
Oh yeah, you got Hullet, you got Bergkamp.
Cliver.
Cliver. Yeah, a lot of those. I don't know.
As well, yeah.
Weghorst.
Weghorst.
You say Weghorst?
No, I said
no.
I said who did I fucking say? I didn't even know.
I said Seedorf.
Yeah, Seedorf.
So 1 and 2, Van Basten,
No, Cruyff.
Cruyff. Van Cruyff.
Van Cruyff.
Nah, third, I'll go with Bergkamp at third. Why not?
Fairs. Cool.
Cool. Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, did you? Yeah, you said Cruyff. Best player right now for Italy. I don't even like saying this, man, because I think he's so overrated. But I'll go with Donnarumma.
Nico Barella.
Yeah, I went for Barella as well, just because of you. To be fair, the way you speak about him, Louie, I was like, yeah.
Is Barella actually all that? Let's be real. Is he actually?
He's a baller, but he's I mean, his record this year for Milan, the Inter, is very good. But he's not what people think he is. He's not like a deep line playmaker. He's not like Verratti or Jorginho. He is a final third, final action player. So he's kind of like Bellingham. He's a number 8, but he operates best in attacking positions. And he's very good, very effective. Yeah, he's tidy, but yeah, he's probably their best player at the moment. I think most Azzurri fans would probably say the same thing. But I mean, it's pretty dire at the moment, to be honest. There's not really much choice. I mean, you've got Nonto, but he's young, and Verratti has fallen off a little bit. Donnarumma is good for Italy, but for PSG, he's horrible. Spinazzola's coming back now. He's okay. Di Lorenzo's good for Napoli, but not good for Italy. I mean, they've just brought a fucking 24-year-old Argentine across who's never lived in Italy in his life to play up front. So that kind of says how bad the situation is. And then Ciro Immobile is from the same town as me in Italy, but he's just not very good.
Yeah, phenomenal goal scorer though. To be fair, like his record in his career has been unbelievable.
But he's a complete facade though.
He is. You've never watched him before. Oh, he's a baller.
I don't know where he scores his goals.
Yeah, Lazio. His record for Lazio is actually insane. I think he's got like
it is. But every time I watch him, he never scores. So I don't know. It's weird.
It's true. I
feel like he doesn't actually exist.
For Brazil, like every time I watched him, never did anything. But for Porto, he was unreal.
Yeah, he's a government plant.
Yeah, maybe
he's an industry plant.
Probably. Yeah, who you gone for their best player?
Yeah, I went for Barella. Yeah, I like with Donnarumma. I just don't think he's that good, at all. So yeah, I went for Barella.
That's fair. And what about worst?
I went with Rafael Toloi.
Yeah, I saw him in the team as well, and I said him, but I then thought he's not established in the team yet, so I'm actually going to go Di Lorenzo, man.
He's very good for Napoli though, which is weird.
Okay, no, I'm not going to go with him. I'm going to go with Emerson. but I don't think.
Yeah, and for me, it was between Emerson, Toloi, and Cristante. But Cristante is actually okay. He just doesn't really do anything, but he's okay. Toloi is just terrible. I don't know that centre back selection. I don't understand. Mancini went against Malta today. He went for Romagnoli and Scalvini, who should be Italy's centre back partnership. But against England, he went with Toloi and Acerbi, who are Acerbi's 35 years old and Toloi's 32 years old. Acerbi has 35 and he's never been a stalwart for Italy ever. Why are you bringing in a 35-year-old player? He thinks he's Chiellini. He's not Chiellini, bro. Like, like, just play. Scalvini is 20 years old. Romagnoli has been waiting to play for Italy for a long time. He's so much better. Just that should be the centre back partnership. I don't know why he went with Toloi and Acerbi, to be honest.
Yeah, it's mad. Italy's defense always been their strong point. Probably in terms of history of nations, they produce the best defenders. But right now, their defense is very, very weak, man. Yeah, that's.
Literally for the reasons you pretty much just said, I went for a Cherby because he had like 10 caps. He was like 30 at 35, and I was like,
and 8 of those caps are off the bench.
He's been out for time as well.
Yeah, he has. Don't get me wrong, he's okay, but he's just like, he's not like, if he played for San Marino, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, I hear that.
But still.
The best Italian player of all time. This is actually difficult because
Tough, man.
Nah, man, it's difficult because
there's no clear best player ever for Italy, in my opinion.
There's not. Like, Maldini's had the best career.
Yeah.
And no, he was sick as well. Like,
yeah,
he was recognised as sick.
I went through a couple in my head. I mean, my first thought was Pirlo, my second thought was Del Piero, but I settled with El Capitano Eterno, Gianluigi Buffon, 44 years old, still playing, has had a career longer than my lifetime. Will probably still be playing when I have kids, knowing him. So yeah, I've gone with him because he's the most recognisable as well.
And he was there, and he was there in the World Cup win as well.
Yeah.
Nah, that's very fair. Buffon, yeah, keepers as well. Widely regarded as the best keeper of this generation. One of the best keepers of all time. That's fair, man. Keelan, who have you gone for that?
To be fair, I had Maldini written down.
That's fair.
I'm now going to change my answer to Buffon because he's completely slipped my mind. But yeah, that longevity that he's had for it. I think so with Maldini, I sort of had him because I quite like the way he was a sort of like one club guy. Like there's a lot of those Italian sort of legends are one club guys. It's almost like the Italian way to do it. Buffon doesn't obviously completely meet that, but he sort of comes quite close to it. And I think he just edges it for me.
He pretty much is though, isn't he? Because no one really cares about the PSG time. And I mean, it's Juventus and Parma. And I mean, he played for Juventus and he played for the club of his that he was born into. So he's I get what you mean.
And he's gone back to that club in Serie B as well.
He's never won the Champions League.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I think that even to this day, I think that's one thing he probably says to himself that he has sleepless nights about. Because he went to PSG for that reason, didn't he? And he played in all the Champions League games for that reason. But to be honest, there's no reason why. I mean, he probably in his prime could have gone to like a United or could have gone to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. Like he could have gone to one of those teams. So, he was loyal to Juventus even when they went down to Serie B. When Juventus went down to Serie B, he could have gone to Man United. They needed a goalkeeper at that time, and he would have won the Champions League.
To be fair, he did fumble finals for Juve, but
yeah, I mean, it wasn't really his fault.
It could have been United might not have any Champions Leagues in the 21st century before the signs.
Yeah, well, yeah, Van der Sar was excellent. But yeah, he could have gone Barca, somewhere like that. You never know. But yeah, I think he liked life in Torino, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I can't stick with one, man. I do think
Kilo's a shout as well.
Keelan's a shout. I feel like if you're looking at ability over the last over this generation, it's between Totti and Del Piero. Maybe
Shout
Totti,
out Baggio as well.
Baggio. I'm actually gonna go with Baggio. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like when he was playing, he was seen as like Ballon d'Or level, top two, top three. Like he's
Yeah.
even got that game named after him, man. Baggio's magical kicks, bro. Like,
Yeah,
nah.
that's mad. I
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
sad because all he's remembered for now really is that penalty miss.
yeah, but I don't hear the streets talk about any Italian player the way they talk about Baggio, really. So Juventus, Inter Milan, Fiorentina. Yeah, I think Maldini's a shout as well. I just think,
I think my dad would say Maldini.
yeah. And obviously you got Nesta, you got Paolo Rossi, Dino Zoff, if you're going way, way back.
Baresi.
Baresi, yeah. You've got a lot of players to be fair. But yeah, that's Buffon took that one.
Yeah.
Germany, I can't lie. Choosing their best player, I mean, I chose Kimmich, but like
I went with Musiala.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I went for Kimmich as well.
Yeah, Kimmich, but Musiala is a good shout, man. He's balling this season. I think having his best goals.
Kimmich is a shout as well.
Yeah, but Musiala, I think, is going to take him to another. Like, I think he's going to do more for them than Kimmich's done so far. So I'm tempted to go with that as well. Yeah, I'll go with Musiala. I think looking at trajectories as well, he's going to be there. First player, I've got around.
Yeah, I went with Schule.
Yeah.
He's just a big lump. That's it.
Yeah, I went for Wolf.
I had him down as well.
Scary looking Don. And yeah, I just thought he just looked like the type of he's got minutes, and he just looked like a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't in the next squads and next German squad.
Yeah, I had a look on their last game on SofaScore. He was there, and I just thought, when he played against Chelsea for Dortmund, I didn't think he was very good either. So he was down for me. I had him or Schule, but every time I watch Schule, he just looks like Maguire.
Yeah,
he's just clunky and doesn't move.
Well, I don't know. I think he's all right, Schule, man.
He's just too big to be a footballer.
He's big.
He's hench.
He should be a fucking bouncer, bro.
He's big, but I swear he's banging for Dortmund this season.
Probably, but yeah, I don't know. He didn't even play their last game.
He stands out.
And he must be good because he keeps Rudiger out of the team for Germany.
Sus cross sections in international football, like
yeah, there is.
Rudiger could have been a shout for best player, to be fair.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's probably one of those ones I didn't see him in the squad, so it just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
The German vote, I've gone with Gerd Muller.
Shout! I didn't even think of him.
I went for Gerd Muller.
I've got 3 names down.
Yeah.
I've got Lothar Matthäus, Manuel Neuer, and Thomas Müller.
Yeah, those are shouts, man.
Gerd Muller, it probably has to be Gerd Muller, though, doesn't it? I think the only one who really could maybe compete with him on that list is Neuer. Or maybe Lothar Matthäus.
That's got a couple Ballon d'Ors, I think, or one Ballon d'Or. Won a World Cup as well as captain. You've also
I'll go Lothar Matthäus.
Yeah, that's fair. Got Beckenbauer as well.
Yeah, of course.
Can't forget him. The original ball playing centre back. Won a couple Ballon d'Ors, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keelan, who have you got for the German GOAT?
Yeah, Gerd Muller as well.
Yeah. You said that.
The guy's ridiculous goal records. Top scorer for them.
Crazy.
Won them World Cups. Like when sort of Thomas Müller started banging, like it was straight. Oh yeah, is this guy the next Gerd Muller? Like he is. The country's GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. Neuer's a good shout. because he's arguably the best keeper ever. Like we said that about Buffon, but I think Neuer was another level. Changed the game as well.
I agree. Sweeper keeper is him.
Yeah, unbelievable player. Came third in Ballon d'Or as well. Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Right, and then quickly we'll do Belgium. Best player right now, Kevin De Bruyne, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would put Kevin De Bruyne as well.
Worst player, I've gone for Vertonghen.
I put the rest of them.
The rest of that team.
I put it's Yeti. Just
Keep that's what
my eye.
I let him off because I thought maybe he's new, just like
Wait, who did you put?
Tiete.
It was some guy.
I have no idea.
Tiete. He's at is he at Milan?
He's at Stuttgart, I think. No, actually, no. He's playing in Belgium. I think. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. He was linked. I think he might have been linked to Milan, or he's been linked to someone, but he's young.
Yeah.
He plays for Stade Rennais.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the one. Yeah, he plays next to Joe Rodon.
Yeah.
How random.
Oh, my dear.
Best player of all time for them?
Kevin De Bruyne. I've gone with.
Yeah, I don't want to put him down just because something about him I don't like, so I put Eden Hazard.
I put Eden Hazard as well. I just think, like Belgium, like De Bruyne's the best player at the moment, but in terms of when you move to that GOAT variable, for me, it is more like what have they done? I just think De Bruyne's never really been that guy for Belgium. I always think he's just been a bit subpar for Belgium.
Yeah, he don't move me either, to be honest.
Yeah.
It would have been Lukaku, but I did somewhat acknowledge that De Bruyne has helped Lukaku get to his status quite a lot. I think Hazard, just in terms of man of the matches and performances at World Cups and in their golden generation, I just think it had to be him.
I agree.
Yeah, very valid, man. Because people say he's the best player of the 2010s in the Prem. And he's got so many standout moments. Like Hazard, he was the go-to guy for Belgium, bro. Like Kevin De Bruyne was looking the captain's armband was on Hazard. So I agree for international. Yeah, I just think KDB's been too good for Man City, man. Like that Man City team come and just dominated, bro. And he's been their best player, I think, of that period. So I think we will look back as well and be like, yeah, he's in the table of best Premier fielders ever at number one.
Definitely.
So 100%.
I think for that reason, I know he's so good it's boring. I think he's so efficient it's boring. He's not necessarily skillful.
He's jarring as well. He's very jarring.
He is. Let me talk.
I think it's because of the way he looks as well.
Maybe.
He shouldn't be good if you look like that.
Like, you just know what I mean? Proper like technical, like
he's an athlete as well. Like,
no weird. Offense to anyone, but he's definitely got autism, man.
Maybe.
Which is like it's just because he's just like a complete robot. But yeah.
Messi as well. To be fair,
Messi's autistic as well.
Yeah, 100%.
You can tell by the way he looks around with like when there's
the growth hormones, like
Well, the thing is with Messi is it'd be like a busy room and everyone would be talking. It would just be looking up to the sky.
Croatia.
Croatia. No, you go.
Okay. So Croatia's best player is it's Perisic, isn't it? No, it's obviously Modric.
Yeah, that should be unanimous, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it's obviously Modric. Although shout out, actually bunch shout outs, it's Modric, man.
Modric. It's Modric.
The worst player, I'm actually gonna have to think. To be fair,
I went for that Livajic, the striker. But it could have been any of their forwards because other than Perisic, they're all pretty dog water, man.
No, Kramaric does well for them. He's been a good servant, I think. But I went for some guy called Sofa.
What is he, a butler, bruv? Man's been a good servant. No, I don't want service. I want goals, man.
Well, I swear he scored like 5 goals at the World Cup, or he scored a few.
Yeah, Kramaric is a calm player. I can't lie.
Yeah,
He's all right, but yeah, I went with Livajic, but it could have been what's their left back's name? Strinic.
Yeah, man.
Who even is that?
Like, Kramaric is actually, bro. He's got a good record for Hoffenheim. He's got
yeah,
90
he
league.
bangs goals.
Bro, he's got
Yeah,
100
Hoffenheim
goals.
he does, yeah.
That is mad. 110 goals in 4 games.
5-star week foot as well.
That's how we feel as well.
I always miss him in SBCs because he's a centre forward, not a striker.
And players are so annoying, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go with Keelan. Who do you say is the worst player?
Sosa, their left back, plays.
I think he's quite decent.
He's not good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's name didn't have heritage in my head, so
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well. To be fair,
Fairs. I quite like him.
yeah, I'm just going because I actually didn't have one lined up, so I just
Fairs.
um,
And the GOAT should be a unanimous Modric, right?
yeah. Honourable
Matic.
mention David Suka, but
Yeah.
Shout Dario Serna is a shout, but
Dario Serna, you know.
is his first name Darius?
Dario.
Isn't he?
Oh,
Darius? Isn't he sporting director at Shakhtar Donetsk now?
I think so. Yeah, he was.
Because he was the one who negotiated the Mudryk deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one who fleeced Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Modric, that Suka. If you're going for like streets where forget borders, you have what's that? Vladimir Petric. I think he scored a goal against
Petric
against England.
and obviously Nico Kranjčar as well. Streets won't forget.
Milan Barros.
Yeah. Oh, he was Czech. He's from Czech.
Is he Czech?
Yeah, he's from Czech.
Oh, fair. My bad.
Rangers had a player called Dado Perso, who was okay. Really tell. But yeah, you
Eduardo
Vida. Shout out Vida, man.
Either.
Dead nightclub.
Yeah,
The absolute gypsy, man.
Oh my days. Lovren.
The best centre back in the world, according to Lovren.
Yeah. Got my World Cup final. Yeah.
No, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
10 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been a great episode. I've really enjoyed that. A lot of debate. And yeah, I think that's fair. I think we haven't said anything too ridiculous. I think the Ronaldo one's obviously gonna upset people, but that's
Yeah.
It's just the truth. Like
It is, yeah. The truth hurts.
That's what
man.
happens when you speak about 38-year-olds just still playing. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly that. But yeah, if you've made it to the end of this, please like, share, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. And that's been it. Streets Won't Forget podcast. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
bless up.
Peace, man.